Uh, it's a spring. We could drop something, it would go back to our stash. Okay, we don't. Let's put this. Let's drop the sock. It'll go back to our stash, and we'll pick up the spring. Hi, Amanda. What are we doing? I have a wonderful gift, just for you. It's almost ready, so please wait a little longer. Tee hee hee. But he's interesting, right? Ow. You want to throw a biscuit at us? What the hell was that? Amanda and Jennifer report to the gift box at once. Nervously, the small-hearted princess rolled her shoulders and said, "Too bad, but the gift will have to wait. For now, let's wish ourselves luck, Jennifer." Hee hee. Fear of being torn apart. I think there'll also be an effective horror element of me and you versus the world. Even there's command you still fear while you have each other, still world. Yeah, no, I don't think it alleviates the entire. What the hell are you doing, Brown? Are you trying to go in here? That's a weird bug. Well, the reason I bring it up, right, is the hell is this? Oh, it's the spring. Is because in this game there's like a legitimate like health bar, right? Keep forgetting that my Elgato is not. There we go. That should make it easier for you guys to see. Like, our health bar is like that thing in the corner, but in Haunting Ground, there's not really like a health bar per se. It's that terror meter, right? But you have games like Clock Tower where there's the terror meter, but you don't have a companion, right? So it's just like I said, it's just really interesting seeing the variances in survival horror and how the design changes based on what elements they decide to bring in and take out. The hell is that? Is that a bunny rabbit? Where'd the rabbit go? Hi. What you doing in there, friend? Joshua, I've written a new story for you. Okay. Follow Brown in just a second. Oh, lovely. This looks like numbers. Yeah, but their inventory's full. Okay. Alright, what can we put away? Not a whole lot, honestly. Okay, we can put the lollipop away. I'm curious if it counts that as food. Okay, lollipop is food. Interesting. It's not a key item. Okay. I think the floral letter helps us find Amanda. Spring, we have no idea. We need the map on us. Let's pick up this story, and then we can read it, and then put it, back. Sir Peter, yeah. That's the name of this chapter. Sir Peter. Sir Peter went out for a stroll. Sir Peter, put in a cage, had to hold it in. Sir Peter needs to go right now, doesn't want to sin. Sir Peter begged and whisked away before he found a toilet. Goodbye, Peter, goodbye. Okie dokie. That's that was a story, I guess. But yeah, it's always interesting. Like when things focus on combat, do they have like less of a focus on story? If they have more focus on story, how much do they focus on combat? You know, what's incentivized? What are your obstacles? Hey, there's the bunny rabbit, and there's a. Oh, I see.
Stay.
Okay, stepped right on that kid and just. Okay, so now we're being chased by rabbits. Okay, I guess reading Sir Peter has attracted the enemies. And the discordant piano, apparently.
Go.
Okay, where are we going? We're going this way. What'd you find? Marble.
Go.
This door, okay. Because like when you're designing a game, and I've talked about this before, like the things you have to think of are, you know, what is your end goal? Like, what are you trying to get the player to accomplish, right? And what are your obstacles? And for games, you know, those obstacles vary depending on your genre. You know, it's like, okay, it's a room full of monsters, or it's a boss fight, or it's a puzzle, or it's a, you know, point and click. You have to find a specific item or item combination. You know, stuff like that, right? You figure out what those obstacles to getting the player from start to finish are. What's that? Is that new? It's candy. Turn this down for me. That's a very annoying. Piano. Marble.
Go.
Is there anything else in here? But yeah, so that's what you have to think about in game design. And for this one, it's like, okay, to get us through the story, what are our obstacles? Well, our obstacles are finding items. You know, there is a little bit of combat, even though it's not incentivized at all, because as far as we've run into, the enemies don't drop anything, and there's no sort of like experience system or whatever, and they do whittle away our resources, so it's better to run than to fight, at least currently. Another marble.
Go.
Okay. You can't find any more of that. Let's do the spring. Maybe you can find...
Go.
Nothing for the spring. Got it. Shortbread.
Go!
Okay, I'll find something for that. So yeah, you know, it's one of those that you have to find that balance of elements. You know, and something can also be an additional element that is not a part of like the puzzle solving. Like Brown here, is actually, oh hello, is actually more of a hint system than he is like an obstacle solver, at least for now, right? Because we can go, oh, we have a floral letter and we need to find Amanda. Sniff this. Okay, we'll take you straight to Amanda. He did the same thing for the clover key, right? Shortbread. So shortbread finds shortbread, but that doesn't count. If it finds itself, it doesn't count as one of the things it has to find.
Go!
But I will hydrate. Here you go. But there's also the hint system on the Buckethead Knights. So it's one of those that's like, you know, when you break stuff, you're breaking it down to like its core rules, right? And the thing is too, you also have to do that when you talk about like stories and stuff, to be like, okay, does the base story, you know, have legs to it? Because a lot of people are like, well, that's very reductionist. It's like, yeah, but you have to remember that not everybody has like literacy when it comes to things like symbolism, when it comes to things like metaphor and stuff like that. Metaphor is in the English term, not the video game. To clarify.
Go!
You know, so it's one of those, like, you have to condense it down and be like, okay, does this story inherently work at its base level? Because I don't know the amount of times that I've had people talk to me about video games and they're like, yeah, I just don't understand what it was about. And, you know, that's perfectly reasonable, right? Because, again, not everybody has the same level of literacy or understanding. Because I was in somebody's chat one day, and I was talking to him about Silent Hill 1, and I was like, oh yeah, he can't go that way. Wait. We can go that way. Hold on. But I was talking about Silent Hill 1, and they were talking about how Silent Hill 1 was better than Shattered Memories, which I completely disagree with. Yeah, we can go to the other side. Hold on. And it's for the simple fact that the stories are drastically different in their inherent structure, right? And I'll try not to spoil Shattered Memories. Silent Hill 1, the story is, there's not really much to spoil, which is kind of the point I was making. With that other viewer. In Silent Hill 1, the story for the main character is find your daughter. Right? And they were like, well, that's very reductionist. I was like, well, the for the character itself, that's it. That is their story. Now, they later find out that their daughter's tied up in some sort of crazy rituals, but like that doesn't have any impact on them themselves. They're still just trying to find daughter. Right? And there it is. Clothespin. Was that the other item? No. We already knew about clothespin. So, whereas Shattered Memories, there's actually like legitimate player interaction with the story, let alone the story itself being different. We see the character who's, yes, looking for his daughter, but is also interacting with characters that have direct impact on him as a person. So, there is a structural difference in those stories, and I think that structural difference is what makes Shattered Memory Story a little bit deeper than Silent Hill 1 itself. Now, if you want to talk about how the combat is non-existent in Shattered Memories, and that's not very fun, I completely understand. It's the only Silent Hill that doesn't have combat, at least up to this point. Well, I guess I don't know about Short Message. I haven't played Short Message. I can't speak to that one, but as far as I know, mainline titles, the only one that doesn't have combat is Shattered Memories. And people weren't a big fan of that, and I completely understand. That's fine. I think that's a legitimate criticism. Oh, what is this? It's like a record. Inventory's full, drop something. Ares. Okay, well we can... I guess we can use this. I don't know what that did. It made a funny sound, though. We did have a record player, I think.
Go.
Okay. Okay. But, but it's important when you talk about game design to kind of mention the inherent structure of a game, right? How does it get the player from point A to point B? How does it entice the player to do certain things? And that to me is the one part I think a lot of people miss. Okay, we need to go directly behind us. When they talk about it is what kind of, what actions are incentivized, right? Because you have to remember that in order to train a behavior, you have to incentivize that behavior. And I think I went the wrong way. I did. I was heading the right way to begin with. Our icon on the map, I think, is an equilateral triangle, so it's hard to tell which way it's pointing. That's just a bad UI element, but if you want the player to do something, you have to give them some sort of reward in doing so. Or you have to make the action satisfying enough to where they feel like they want to keep doing it. That's where the, oh, it feels so good to just blast my way through, hordes of demons. Your Helldivers kind of effect, right? Your task is to clear planet of bugs, and it's just so enjoyable to do that people just do that because they want to, right? Or automatons or whatever they're fighting, right? So you can incentivize a behavior just by making it fun, Okay. So let's put the sock away. Let's put that away. Oh, it's in find. I don't know if finding this stuff is important, but it might save us time later. So
Go.
okay.
Go.
But yeah, so it's one of those that, and I've talked about it before, is sometimes developers they have a very consistent core loop with their games, but sometimes developers forget to make their game fun. I've mentioned this on a few occasions where I think the games are solid or their gameplay loops make sense, their incentives make sense, but the game itself is just not fun to play. And that honestly is where I feel like there's a real travesty.
Come. Go.
Is where, you know, they have really good ideas, but it's just not fun to do. Because even though an idea can be great, doesn't necessarily mean it can be fun. And it's one of those, like, it's hard to tell a developer, like, hey, great game, except no one wants to play it, you know? Because, you know, it comes off very, very insulting, obviously. And there's better ways to phrase that. It's just, like, you have to find ways to keep that loop fun. Okay, what's this? Biscuit, okay. There's another item here. Another biscuit.
Go.
And what's fun for one person is not going to be fun for a different person, right? Like that's the problem with subjectivity, right? So it's like, you know, like what we're doing here with Brown. I'm enjoying following Brown around just to see what all Brown finds. But, you know, you could hand this to a different player and then be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to waste my time following Brown around. I'm just going to plow through the story and figure out what's going on here. Okay, we can't go that way, which is interesting. Okay. What's that? Kitchen knife. Can we drop that? We can, because I don't need that. Why is that side blocked, but the other side not? I think it wants us to go to the Aristocrat Club, obviously, the gift box. But it let us go this way, right? Isn't this just across the way? Can we not get to the other side? I'm confused. Can we not just go over here? What's that? Minced pie. But that's also something you have to keep in mind too whenever you create anything. Like it could be music, it could be games. Is you have to remember that subjectivity exists, right? There's a storage box. Stock an item. Okay. Minced pie only finds ribbons, probably other minced pie. So we'll go ahead and store that. Go ahead and save again. But again, you have to remember that when you create something, like, you may think it's the best thing on the planet, but as soon as you hand that thing over, you know, to someone else to observe, you know, they will. People have the tendency to find flaws in things, right? And flaws can sometimes be subjective, and sometimes they're objective. Like, hey, there's a bug where this door doesn't open anymore, right? Like that is an objective problem. Like bugs are an example of an objective problem. Now, a subjective problem is like, oh, this light may be a little too bright, or that color looks a little off, or that kind of thing. That might be a subjective thing, because maybe you're going for a specific vision that they just don't understand. Okay, so, oh god. Yeah, they locked us in here to get jumped. There's also a conversation to be had about the reason why you have to deal with subjectivity is, art, whether that's music or games or paintings or whatever it might be, has an inherent, like, built-in need to be observed, right?
Go!
So... what's that? Oh, ribbon.
Go!
Nothing else.
Go!
Alright. Just kind of looking around. We know where we need to go. I just wanted to see if there was anything else along our way. It's not a door. There is that. Okay. So it will not let us go in this connecting room right here for some reason. Can we go this way? No. We can go up here. Does it say? Still say Cloverfield? Okay, we can't go up the stairs either. Okay. I think it's time for us to go to the gift box and figure out what they want. But, and also, I think the thing is, too, whenever you create something, and you go to share it, you have to remember that the thing you created and you are two different things. And when people critique something you've created, they're not critiquing you as a person. Because I've seen a number of people get upset over the years for music, art, games, stuff that they've created, because someone, left a comment being like, hey, so wasn't a big fan of, like, how this played, or how this color scheme turned out, or something like that. And they took that, personally. And it's like, well, they weren't meaning it personally. They were just talking about the piece itself. But sometimes it's a little hard to detach, right? That kind of stuff.